Welcome to Principles with Cory and Logan. Guys, we're doing something slightly different today. We're going to be doing a book series, and the book that we're going to be looking at is called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. And I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite books. It's probably in my top 3 to 5. In our physical therapy clinic, we used to stockpile this book and hand them out to high school and junior high kids as they left. And wanted to do this because it's something that our Legacy Builders Mastermind group has been going through. And Legacy Builders is a group of entrepreneurs and leaders. I created this group a couple of years ago, mainly out of a desire of my own, as entrepreneurs often do. If you see a need, you go out and build it. When we had our business, we were growing our business, and I would go to the courses, the seminars, the webinars, and all those kind of fun things. And I would learn and grow, but I did not have anybody I could go to that I could ask questions, that knew what I was going through as a leader or as an entrepreneur. I didn't have anybody I could go to bounce ideas off of, that could hold me accountable and kind of be guardrails as I wanted to grow my business, but not at the expense of other things that were important to me, like my faith or my family or my fitness. And we built this business, or built this mastermind group for a place for entrepreneurs to come into to intentionally grow as an environment of growth. And we meet together once a week. Every week we'll come in and we'll talk about our wins and update ourselves on some of our commitments from the week before, and kind of be accountability group as well. But more importantly than that, it's not just an accountability group. It's a place where we come together to intentionally grow. One of the things we do each month is we read a book, not as a book club, but to dig out the nuggets in there and how do we apply that. And then within each meeting, there's somebody, a leader gets into what we call the growth seat, where they come with their topic, their challenge, their opportunity, maybe their idea. And you've got all these other leaders in the Zoom room meeting with you, helping you think into that challenge to come up with a solution and helping you figure out a way forward. So we do that once a week. And one of the books we've been going through is The Traveler's Gift. And I wanted to do the next few weeks on our podcast just a book series on this. And if you've never read The Traveler's Gift, highly, highly recommend it. It is awesome. But just to kind of give you a quick synopsis, gentleman in the book, him and his wife, it's written in story form, but got some great personal growth principles in there. But the man and his wife, his company is being bought out. He's losing his job. His daughter is sick. She's in the hospital. And he decides to himself that his family would be better off with the life insurance money. It would pay all their medical bills, help them out financially if he just kind of left, right? So he's speeding along, has a car wreck, and what happens is he gets to go back in history and meet 7 historical figures. And it's a really incredible book. So highly recommend it. Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. I'm going to go through over the next few weeks some of these decisions, some of these opportunities to meet these key leaders in time of history. And I'm going to have some of our Legacy Builders men come on here and discuss with me. But this first one that we're talking about is he actually gets to meet President Truman. And here's the decision. Here's the moment that, here's the lesson in here. It's called The Buck Stops Here. The buck stops right here. And as he's talking to President Truman in this book, David is talking about his circumstances and his conditions. And the president comes to him and says, I'm saying that outside influences are not responsible for where you are mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. You have chosen the pathway to your present destination. The responsibility for your situation is yours. And, many times we can look at our circumstances and conditions and say, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And he says in here, the words, it's not my fault, should never again come from your mouth. It's not my fault. Those words have been symbolically written on the gravestones of unsuccessful people ever since Eve took a bite of that apple. Until a person takes responsibility for where he is, there's no basis for moving on. The bad news is, here's the bad news, right? Here's the bad news, is that the past is in your hands. But here's the good news. The future, my friend, is in your hands. as well. One of the things I say in our leadership training when I talk to leaders, and also definitely in our legacy builders group, is there are two phrases that you never get to say again. If you are listening to this and you are a leader, I want you to raise your hand. And these are two phrases that you never get to say again. Number one is do as I say, not as I do. You no longer get to say that as a leader. Do as I say, not as I do. People may not believe what you say, but they will 100% believe what you do. As you are a leader, you're becoming a person that other people willfully follow because of who you are and what you represent, and your actions speak. Your actions speak. The second one is because I said so. You can't say that anymore. You can't say it to your kids. You can't say it to the people you lead. Because I said so. When you're leading people, you got to lead people with context. When people understand why they're doing what they do, now they can make critical decisions as well. They also buy in. Because I said so is the phrase that you cannot say again. Well, as reading this book, he adds a third one. And the third one is, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Should never again come out of your mouth. As leaders, you must take responsibility. There's so many people, they spend their time regretting the past or worrying about the future, and they miss the precious present. And we don't want to be those kind of leaders. I want to read a couple more parts of this book, and then dive in just a little bit. But again, he's speaking to the president here, and the president says, listen to me now. You are where you are because of your thinking. Your thinking dictates your decisions. Decisions are choices. Years ago, you chose where you would attend college. You chose your course of study. When you graduated with the degree you chose to pursue, you chose the company to which you would send a resume. After interviewing with the company that responded, you chose the one for which you would work. Somewhere during that time, you chose to go to a party or a play or a ball game. There you met a young lady whom you chose to marry. Together, you chose to have a family and how large that family would be. When you chose the house in which you would live and the cars you would drive, you chose how much the payments would be each month. By choosing to eat ribeye or steaks or hot dogs, you chose the household expenses, and you were the one who chose not to take the earlier retirement. In this story, in this line of story for this gentleman, you chose to stay to the bitter end. Years ago, you began making the choices that led you to your present situation. And you walked right down the middle of the path every step of the way. You know, we see this in the law of sowing and reaping. If I sow some corn, I'm going to get me some corn. I'm not going to get some black-eyed peas, right? Well, every action that you take is going to produce a result. Every action you take is going to produce a result. So exactly like the president said, you walk down the path every step of the way. And I'm going to read one last thing on here as it relates to this decision. This is the first decision for success. Is the buck stops right here. The buck stops with you. The buck stops with me taking extreme ownership. From this moment forward, I will accept responsibility for my past. I understand that the beginning of wisdom is to accept the responsibility for my own problems, and that by accepting responsibility for my past, I free myself to move into a bigger, brighter future of my own choosing. Never again will I blame my parents, my spouse, my boss, or my employees for my present situation. Neither my education nor lack of one, my genetics, or the circumstantial ebb and flow of everyday life will affect my future in a negative way. If I allow myself to blame those uncontrollable forces for my lack of success, I will be forever caught in the web of the past. I will look forward. I will not let my history control my destiny. Come on, y'all. The buck stops right here. I accept responsibility for my past. I'm responsible for my success. I am where I am today, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially because of the decisions that somebody else made. No, the decisions I have made. My decisions have always been governed by my thinking. Therefore, I am where I am today, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially because of how I think. Today, I will begin the process of changing where I am mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially by changing the way I think. Be renewed, right? Be renewed by your mind, right? My thoughts will be constructive, never destructive. My mind will live in the solutions of the future. I want to pause right there. There are so many people looking at all the challenges and the problems, and they focus on the problems instead of being a solutionary. I want you to be a solutionary. Look for the solutions. If you, what you focus on, that's where your energy will go. Right? If you focus on the challenges, you'll see more challenges. If you focus on finding solutions, eventually you'll find solutions. It also goes whenever we look at people. If I choose to focus on the negative of an individual, that's what I'll continually see. But if I choose to focus on some positive trait, some positive quality, it will come out in the way I speak with them, the way I engage with them, and the way I interact with them. All right. I will not dwell in the problems of the past. I will seek the association of those who are working and striving to bring about positive changes in the world. I will never seek comfort by associating with those who have decided to be comfortable. When faced with the opportunity to make a decision, I will make one. I understand that God did not put in me the ability to always make right decisions. He did, however, put in me the ability to make a decision and then make it right. I want to say something right here. We'll get into it in the next chapter, but on decisions, successful people have a habit around decision making. Well, unsuccessful people do as well. Successful people, what they do is they make decisions quickly, and then they change their minds slowly. Unsuccessful people make their decisions slowly, and then they change their minds quickly. I think it's President Roosevelt, he said that in a moment of decision, the best decision you can make is the right one. The next best decision you can make is the wrong one. But the worst decision you can make is no decision at all. And here's the reason why. It's whenever you make a decision to act, now you've got some kind of feedback, right? Once you choose to act, you've got a result, and that gives you some feedback. Did I make the right choice? Maybe so, and I can continue down that path. Maybe I made the wrong choice. Well, that's feedback. I can change something. But if I choose not to act, I will never get the feedback. I'm just going to stand still. And I'll tell you this, the way the world is going and how everything is changing and growing, that if you're not growing, you're not just standing still, my friend, you're getting left behind, right? So when I make a decision, I will stand behind it. My energy will go into making the decision. I will waste none on second thoughts. My life will not be an apology. It will be a statement. Come on. The buck stops right here, y'all. I control my thoughts. I control my emotions. In the future, when I'm tempted to ask the question, why me? I will immediately counter with an answer. Why not me? You were made for such a time as this. Come on. Challenges are gifts, opportunities to learn. Problems are the common thread running through the lives of great men and women in times of adversity. I will not have a problem to deal with. I will have a choice to make. My thoughts will be clear. I will make the right choice. Adversity is the preparation for greatness. I will accept this preparation. Why me? Hey, man, why not me? I will be prepared for something great. I accept responsibility for my past. I control my thoughts. I control my emotions. I am responsible for my success. And hey, the buck stops right here. My friend, are you ready to accept responsibility for the past and take on responsibility for creating your future? How willing are you to let go of the blame game? How willing are you to move from, oh, why me, to why not me? I want to read you guys one last thing, and this is from Acts 17:26, I think. So Acts 17:26 through 27, okay? You guys can look up the context whenever you want, but here's the point. I want you to kind of read this. Acts 17:26. From one man, he, God, made all the nations that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he marked out their appointed times in history. All right, let that sink in. And then the boundaries of their lands. Let that sink in. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, although he is not far from any of us. Here's the point that I want to make and feel like we need to hear is that My friend, you could have been created at any point in history. That's what that says right there. He appointed their times, right? You could have been created at any point in history, 1,000 years ago. You could have been created 1,000 years from now, but here you are. And as I'm recording, this is 2022. I don't know when you'll be listening to this, but it still holds true. Here you are. You could also have been positioned at any location in the world. Yet here you are. And I'm going to suggest that you, my friend, were made for such a time as this, that you are no longer the effect of things, but you are designed to be causative, to cause and affect things. Why not me is a phrase we are to place out of our vocabulary. Never again should it come out of your mouth. Well, hey, I hope this has added value to you. This is, again, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. You can find it on Amazon, wherever books are sold. We always keep cases of them, but this is, again, a book we're going through in our Legacy Builders Mastermind group. And if you're a leader or an entrepreneur and you're interested in putting yourself in an intentional place of growth, in an environment conducive to growth, I'd love to talk to you about that. I'll also put a link in the show notes of Legacy Builders, but this is the first decision for success. We're going to do a series over the next few weeks of this book series on the Traveler's Gift, and this is the first decision of success, and that decision is the buck stops right here. I hope today has been of value to you. I hope you have a great day. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on any future episodes. You guys have a great day, and God bless.